Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe. It's down there, folks. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, as you can see, I've got a bit of a black eye. I fell over last week. Anyway, it's getting better now. I'm going to talk today about notorious inmates. I had a request here from somebody to speak about Dominic Nunan, first-rate groomer of little boys. And he was a so-called Manchester gangster, a modern gangster. He's about as much a gangster as my pet Toto. That's my Shih Tzu puppy dog. Yeah, he's got more bite than Dominic Nunan, believe me. I will talk about Noonan in a bit. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to a guy in Dublin who sent me a message saying, say hello, so Joe Fletcher. There you go. Happy days. Get down to Temple Bar and neck a few black ones for John. Yeah, I like Guinness, especially in Dublin. It's very nice. I've been round the Dublin brewery there. I went round and had a beer at the top. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, so there you go, Joe. Yeah, I was going to tour Ireland once, you know. I had a TV show in Ireland on RTE. It was called Psychic Readings Live. I was obviously Psychic John G there. That's who I was on that. And it was on about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning for 2 hours. And I think it was 8 consecutive 2-hour shows in Ireland on Irish TV. So if you ever saw that, I was in all the papers as well. So at one time I was notorious in Ireland. Been there a few times. I like Galway as well. This is for Joe Fletcher, by the way. If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, even at the closing of the day. Yeah. Ireland, fine place. If you've never been, folks, no excuse. Get yourself on a plane, land at Dublin, hire yourself a car, have a drive round. It's a wonderful place. Joe Fletcher, thanks very much for your interest in watching my channel, by the way. We're talking about notorious villains, Dominic Nunan being one. When he was in Strange Ways, he reckoned he was too tough for Strange Ways. Well, he was too tough till he met the school bully. And the school bully gave him a lesson that Dominic Newman will never forget. You see, down at the block, I never saw anybody win. See some big bastards lose. Yeah, lose in a bad way. Because when you lose down the block, you take them on, you see, you're at it. You ain't going to win. They get all the baddest, nastiest, biggest psychopaths that they can find and put them in uniform down the block at Strange Ways. That used to work, you know, because if there's one thing on the landings that you didn't really want to do as a prisoner was get snatched and dragged down the block. I didn't get asked, you know, would you like to step this way? Nothing like that. Get 4 or 5 big bastards, uplift you so you were flying off the landings. You know, literally like a magic carpet. Up in the air, out the landings, down the stairs, onto D1, slung into an empty cell. All the big boys come in. Well, maybe just 2 of them, you know, maybe just 2 of them. Go in there, rip all the clothes off you. And then if you're still misbehaving after that, well, the school bully's going to pay you a visit. But if you're still making a noise after that, then you get a visit from one of the nursing officers, one of the hospital officers. That would be somebody like me, who turns up with a syringe and sticks it in your jacks in. You got an arse full of Largactil. You tend to be quiet after that, you know. But if it were me and I was subjected to that, I mean, just the mere introduction of the school bully would be quite sufficient. He was also known as Bootsy, by the way. That's because he wore big ammunition boots, not because he kicked people. He didn't. He had a punch like a donkey. Boo! You go flying to the back of the cell, from the front of the cell to the back of the cell, just like that. Boom! And off you went. Pew! I've seen a few do that. Hit the back wall and fall on the floor. Yeah, I didn't see anybody pick themselves up too quickly, I'll tell you that. including Dominic Nunan. Now, Dominic Nunan thought he was one of the Cray twins. He thought he was setting up a protection scheme in Manchester. You know, people paid so much a week, and Dominic Nunan and his little T-boys would protect them. They wouldn't. They were just extorting money. They were extorting money from people who didn't have any money. Are you with me? Now, that's not a big boy, is it? That's not right. He was also a member of a certain faith, and he used to go into the church. Seriously, Dominic Nunan, go into the church and confess to all his sins. And the priest, in his wisdom, would forgive Dominic Nunan all his sins in the name of Christ. Then Dominic Nunan would go out and bugger a few little boys and take money off old people and generally behave like a total shithouse, which is what he was, still is. Then he'd go back the next couple of days and get some more forgiveness. It was like a roundabout, you know. Sins forgiven, round the other side, sins committed, right back in, sins forgiven. It's a kind of a carry-on, is that? That's a big thing I've got against Christianity, you see. I'm not a Christian, really, not much of a Christian anyway, although I was confirmed into the Christian faith. I absolutely don't believe in having my sins forgiven. They're part of what I am. You know, if I've committed sin, then that's part of what I am. That's me, you see. I'm not really a sinner. You know, I don't hurt people if I can help it. If I can't help it and it needs it, well, then you know what to do. Joe Fletcher knows all about that, don't you, Joe? Get in there. Give him a wigging kiss. Have that, you bastards. Don't do it anymore. I'm an old man now. So anyway, talking about Dominic Nunan, total shithouse, down the block at Strange Ways, thought he was a tough guy, lost all his clothes. The quickest way to get undressed, get down the block and insult the school bully. Next minute, you wake up, you got an arse full of largactyl, and you've no clothes on. Yeah, seriously. Another shithouse that was in Strange Ways was Frankie Fraser. Thought he could get his way around the staff. You know, well, if you don't respect who I am, you know, there's going to be trouble. Unfortunately for Frankie, I didn't respect him at all. I thought he was a complete shithouse, even as bad as Dominic Nunan. Because during World War II, Frankie Fraser was breaking into people's houses during the blackout because London was being bombed. It was also being robbed by Frankie Fraser. So the real men were away at war, fighting Hitler and the Nazis. Frankie Fraser was breaking into their houses and robbing the wives and children whilst they were away at war. That's what I think about Frankie Fraser. He's a complete... Well, he was. I expect that he's stalking the fires of hell now. Anyway, that's my little rant for today. People ask about Dominic Nunan. Talking big, pretended to be a gangster, ended up in Strange Ways, completely lost it, and got himself slammed in the segregation unit, and he was invited to meet the school bully, where he came second and lost all his clothes and got an arse full of largactyl. There we go. I'm going to read you a poem now. This is by John Keats. I hope you like poems. You do, don't you? Yeah. Joe likes poems. There you go. That's the song there. Yeah. Panic's setting in now in Rotherham. Yeah. Catherine, yeah, in the back end of Beyond. Hello, how are you doing, Catherine? Yeah, and Paul, I've not heard from you a bit, Paul. I sent you the last couple of chapters of my book because you're proofreading for me. Yeah. Here we go. This is by John Keats. I'm rambling a bit today, aren't I? John Keats is La Belle Dame sans Merci. La Belle Dame sans Merci. That means the beautiful lady without mercy. By John Keats. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? The sedge is withered from the lake, and no birds sing. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, so haggard and so woe-begone? The squirrel's granary is full, and the harvest done. I see a lily on thy brow, with anguish moist and fever dew, and on thy cheeks a fading rose, fast withereth too. I met a lady in the meads, full beautiful, a faery's child. Her hair was long, her foot was light, and her eyes were wild. I made a garland for her head, and bracelets too, and fragrant zone. She looked at me as she did love, and made sweet moan. I set her on my pacing steed, and nothing she saw all day long, for sidelong would she bend and sing a fairy song. She found me roots of relish sweet, and honey wild, and manna dew, and sure in language strange she said, I love thee true. She took me to her elfin grot, and there she wept and sighed full sore, and there I shut her wild, wild eyes with kisses four, and there she lulled me asleep, and there I dreamed. Ah, woe betide, the latest dream I ever dreamed on the cold hillside. I saw pale kings and princes too, pale warriors, dumb pale were they all. They cried, La belle dame sans merci hath thee in thrall. I saw their starved lips in the gloam, with horrid warning gaped wide, and I woke and found me here on the cold hillside. And this is why I sojourn here alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake, and no birds sing. John Keats, La Belle Dame Sans Merci, the beautiful lady without mercy. This is Tales from the Jails, folks. John G. Sutton. Do like and subscribe. And don't forget to read my books, folks. They're brilliant.